Welcome everyone to this episode of Hunter Bad Blood. Good to see everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thank you all for playing this evening. Good to see you. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving holiday. I'm still working off my turkey coma. Let's do a quick round of...
needs to take you for a walk.
Right? Yeah, I should have maybe gone out and got that worked off first. Let's do a quick round of introductions before we jump into it. First, Carly, introduce your cat and then yourself and who you're playing.
Hi, this is my cat Amira. She thought that the windowsill next to me was a great idea, and I told her that no, I want to hold her instead. And I'm Carly, and I make dice and play games and run games and do things, and I am playing our tiny little hard hitter Mari Griff that somebody still doesn't believe is useful. It's like he can't see with his eyes. Anyways,
I don't want you to necessarily call.
I'm going to bring that over to Ryan.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't necessarily want you to call out who that is, but go ahead and tell us who that is by choosing that person to go next, and you did.
You did this.
It's almost like we were on the same wavelength.
Hi, I'm Ryan. And my initials spell rad, so there's a little tidbit. I am playing D. D is an ex-Special Forces, a CIA kind of spook. He maybe was a little elitist for a while. I think over the past several days, that has softened some. But he's still a big jerk, and he is kind of indifferent with this group because he kind of came in late. So he's still trying to figure out the lay of the land. With these folk, they seem like lunatics in his estimation, but lunatics that are maybe onto something. Maybe most maniacal of all, I'll pass it over to Jason, and he can tell you about his character.
All right. I'm Jason. I play Peter the Lunatic. He's the old paranoid man of the group who loves his explosives and his drones and getting as much revenge on vampires as he can. I think that's a pretty good
that sounds about right.
Summary for Peter. You know, a little paranoid. Okay, a lot paranoid. Okay, extremely paranoid. But, you know, when they are out to get you anyway.
Yeah, but too paranoid, because, you know, when somebody can't get a hold of you at all.
Not that Mari has reference for this.
Yep.
And Ed, how about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Ed. I'm playing Billy Gray, the ex-cop. And it feels like we just got out of, like, hairy situation after hairy situation. So I think now we need to figure out how to put ourselves in a new hairy situation.
Sounds good. I like it. Perfect. And usually Sid would be with us, but tonight he was unable to join. So he's playing Ray, who was a bartender only like a week ago. And then the World of Darkness opened before him. And he has been thrust into it pretty much in the deep end, just got dropped in there. So this group has been in charge of trying to keep him safe from the various bloodsuckers that are trying to eat him. And with that, I guess I'm Jeremy. You can find me on the socials at WH Pubs. Also head over to YouTube and give us a follow. You can find all of our old episodes there. There's like 350 some odd videos on there now, so you could keep yourself busy for the rest of the year and then some if you want to catch up. So head over and subscribe over there. We're trying to get to our 500 followers. I was trying by the end of the year, but we're almost there, so it'll happen someday. We're just going to go with that. So we'll just do a quick recap, and then we'll talk about where you all are currently. You have been trying to protect this fellow Ray, who was a bartender, who appears to have some kind of effect in his blood that causes vampires to spontaneously turn to ashy goo, I think is how we were describing it. This has led to not only being hunted by vampires, but a corporation known as Onryo has taken particular interest in Ray, and therefore you all. They sent a liaison to you, who just happens to be Peter's ex-hunter friend, who, when you were in a group together previously, there was a bad situation that went from bad to worse and ended up with the death of 3 of your friends. And at that point, you parted ways. She went to work for Onryo, and you went and continued the good work on your own until you met Mari and Billy, and the 3 of you have since then been working together. Dee came into the picture with Amelia, your ex-hunter friend, who was trying to guide you all in a way to test what Ray's abilities were before she got called back to headquarters. During that time, Dee was exposed to the world of darkness for the first time firsthand. Because Ryan wasn't able to be here for that game, he froze a little bit, but managed to survive the episode. And as things progressed, it has become clear that there is something strange and maybe mystical or something about Ray's existence. However, as you were fleeing the site of a bowling alley that you had found a nest of a resting spot for vampires in, and you had left it in flames behind you, you'd been attacked. And during that time, the Onryo headquarters had also simultaneously been attacked, being burnt to the ground and leaving Dee, as he said last time, unemployed, freshly unemployed, as except for your boss was found on TV. They did find her down in San Diego at a fundraiser. So, with the people who were protecting you no longer able to do so, you had been given information in a last phone call from Amelia that your group had been burned. The information of who you were and who Ray is and the potential of Ray's ability has been found out. There is information waiting for you on a secure server at a safe house. And so you had all been heading that direction after rejoining up after being jumped on during your drive, putting Mari in the hospital temporarily, the rest of you fleeing and trying to hide. Once you came back together, you got on a train and headed out of town. The last couple of days have been rather a blur, as you've jumped train to bus to car that was left for you, D, as part of Onryo. This is part of your bug out situation. You know that if there is a situation that you need to get to a safe house, you have a protocol to follow. And so following this, bringing everyone with you, you finally have found yourself deep in the Armstrong Redwoods National Forest. You took a couple Amtraks, changing directions to throw off anyone who might have been following you. From there, you took buses, got in various vehicles, ditched those vehicles, and finally came to a last parking lot where you drove north out of San Francisco and into the National Forest, parking the car at a public parking lot. You had gone on foot through some of the trails, making that leg of the journey a little more simple for Peter. But once you needed to go off-road, it was a little more precarious and took some time. However, as you came to what appeared to be an abandoned ranger station, some of you immediately noticed that it had rather updated security measures, cameras, and using your identification, D, you managed to get inside and into the secret bunker below. There you found not only the laptop you were looking for, but a collection of rooms that had beds and supplies. Very little in the way of what Peter and Mari and Billy feel you might need as far as gear, but definitely like supplies to survive, food, water, etc. As the group of you are hanging out, D, you went through the information. So I'm just going to kick over to Ryan. Ryan, as you've been going through this information on your own first, you see that Onryo has had their eye on the vampire populace for some time. You knew it was real, but you had never really experienced it. You knew there were creatures that go bump in the night, but you'd never really seen them. But now you've had firsthand opportunity to experience it, and it kind of left you a little shaken for a little bit. And as you go through this information, you can see that these creatures don't just exist, but they are everywhere. And there's some kind of structure that seems to hold their society together. What Onryo has found is that there is something called the masquerade that the vampires use as a defense mechanism to keep them hidden from mortal eyes, therefore maintaining their own survival. More importantly, there is a prince system. Now, prince is a generalized statement from what you read as you go through. It is a title given to a vampire, male or female, or neither thereof, that are watching over a given area, usually a city. And there's a bunch of information that Amelia has marked for you about a person in San Francisco that goes by the name of Karsh. Karsh is also known as the Warlord, as you're scrolling through all of this, and apparently is in charge of that area's masquerade or society of vampires. Apparently, Karsh has a good deal of information about Onryo, and therefore, somehow, whether it was by mole or other influence into their network, has found information about not necessarily you specifically, but your group, and specifically Ray. You definitely see photos of Ray, of Peter, of Billy, and Mari taken over the last several days. What information would you like to share with the group?
I would share most of it. I think that certainly I would share any information that directly is pertaining to them, right? Like, so I would share the information that they've been made by this group and the images to kind of corroborate that. You know, I mean, their lives are in mortal peril potentially. I think that there would be kind of like comparing of notes, like, hey, did you guys know this? I just found this out. Is this something that you guys have known? Speaking about like the masquerade and speaking about the print system and all of that, and seeing if they have any like supplemental information that maybe wasn't in the file. And then I'll share information about this supposed prince. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much reason to hold back information. I think that maybe the only stuff that would be a little bit more guarded would be anything related directly to Onryo.
Okay.
That isn't superseded by one of these other, more important things. Like if there's another reason to tell the information, then probably the information has been shared. But if not, then I would probably, keep that closer to the vest.
Okay. As you've been going through, you have found that there's a lot of. It looks like this is a file sent directly by Amelia, or at least has been collected by Amelia, and so there's a lot of like notations that she took down. You notice notes about like she's questioning whether there was a mole, if there's a security breach in the network, how is it that this information has been found, how did they find out about her interaction with Peter, for example. And you know that like with the speed of which that the vampires attacked after you hit the bowling alley 3 days ago at this point. Yeah, 3 days ago. Obviously their information is rapid, like they're getting the stuff quickly and therefore have rapid response. Karsha's reach apparently goes beyond the borders of San Francisco. Is there anything that the group wants to build upon that with? Like, is there any information you want to give back to D?
Can I see that file? See what all's in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's multiple files, and I'll...
Yeah. Like,
I'll
what name do they call me in that, for instance? Do they ever reference Alex, or
They
is it
do
all
not.
Peter?
No.
Okay.
You're in there as according to your current alias.
Okay. Do they list like connections that we have with others? Like possible, people they can go after, etc.
Yeah. There is mention of the professor that you tend to get a lot of your information from as far as the local club scenes, because he's the one who sent you to the Red Room, for example, during the episode 1, to find out about the vampire activity that was going on there. They do have his name. They do have the names of the children that Mari is pseudo caretaker over. There is a lot of information about Billy's former employment as a police officer, but also there are photos of fairly recent drug deals that Billy has made since leaving the police force. Stuff like that. Of everyone, there's actually the most information about Billy.
What about Ray? Do they talk about him and his abilities in there?
There is a surprising amount of information about Ray, but a lot of it is like Google searches, essentially. Like anything you could just like Google's his name and find. There's like social media pictures. A lot of it is at the Red Room. There was a bar that he worked at for a short time before that. There are some photos of when he was deployed in Afghanistan and such. But most of it is post his time in the military. Okay. But a lot of it is just kind of collected data and not so much any proof of his abilities prior to the night that you found him. I will give you this, however. There are some references worked throughout the files that Karsh has been looking for someone that was marked, and it's real vague. So you're not 100% sure it's about Ray, but kind of putting everything together, it could be about him.
Hey, D. Is this connected to all the Onryo servers?
No.
You're on a closed network within the area, and you're actually not even on the power grid here. You're running off well water and a generator that is in the basement.
Well, the file had to get delivered here somehow. But yeah.
It did.
D, how is this sitting with you? I think by that I mean what Peter and Mari and I have been doing is, I don't know how to put this delicately. It's not exactly a job. And I don't want to make any assumptions about where your head's at.
You know, working for the CIA was also kind of more than a job. I think I've always struggled with what people call work-life balance. That seems kind of like a joke to me. I guess if you'd walk through in my shoes, you'd understand that I don't make judgments rapidly and without a ton of information. So my feelings haven't really changed a ton. But I do know that if there's this vast network of vampires kind of permeating all of our society, then we need to do what we can to give ourselves a leg up. Although I think that you can't I don't believe something this widespread can be extracted violently successfully. I think that there needs to be some like more surgical precision in the way that we go about things, and if you all could use some of that, I'd be happy to join you.
I mean,
I'm actually really, really glad to hear you say that.
it's kind of unsurprising they have leadership.
It sounds like this Karsh could use some. It sounds like this Karsh could use some surgical precision.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a leader. He's going to probably have protections.
I don't believe for a minute that killing Karsh is going to magically destroy every vampire in San Francisco.
No, but it might allow us
Maybe
to get back under the radar.
Yeah. You guys are always making fun of me for my beliefs of trying to keep hidden. This is what happens when we don't.
Well, look, they have just as much information about you as they do us, and you're infinitely more paranoid than we are,
Yeah.
enough that it causes problems.
Except because you're not as paranoid as me, they connected me with you.
I don't think they connected me.
Please don't do this.
You.
Not right now. This is not what we need.
Well, I like the idea of getting rid of him so he can get back under the radar.
what I know is when smaller populations are embedded within larger populations, like it seems like this vampire organization or vampire race seems to be in our culture, there often can be a lot of layers of unhealthy secrecy and unhealthy kind of power vying, potentially, if we are able to take out or wound or distract or temporarily remove from power this prince person. We may not need to take out all of the organization for the organization to be dealt a major blow. I also agree. I don't think that taking out the head of something is going to necessarily mean that everything else magically or not magically just kind of dries up and goes away, but it's a start.
Well, yeah, I don't think killing him's gonna get rid of everything.
I just want so badly to make them afraid, to strike back, to make these blood-sucking fucking predators watch their own backs for once. That is so fucking important to me.
Well, yeah.
To be on the pointy end of the stick. And maybe while we're at it, we can throw them into enough chaos that their fucking hooks, the corruption that it feels like they have into every single aspect of our society, maybe we can shake some of that loose. Again, I don't think we're gonna kill every bloodsucker in San Francisco, but I think it's so worthwhile to try.
Well, if we get him, hopefully they'll fight each other to take the new spot.
And like for me, it's about more than just like getting back to a normal life, right? Like that honestly makes me giggle, right? Like what Mari and Pete and I do is not a normal life, right? It's not about
I wasn't talking
saving
about
my
normal. I was just talking about getting the eyes off of us so we can continue what we were doing.
Ray's like, I mean, I don't know what you all plan to be doing, but I just want to go back to bartending and living my life. So if we could just get there, that'd be great.
Well, we got two problems. He knows who we are, and who else knows who we are? Where's this information?
I imagine it's probably not a lot.
Well, the other problem is this thing says that someone was feeding them this information from either within Onryo or whatever.
Look, that's
Well, no,
your bailiwick.
this does
I don't
not
know.
say
You're the
that.
one that figures out where the information comes from.
It says they think there's a leak.
No, there's questions. These are her notes on how are they getting information, and some things that are posited are there was a mole or there is a leak.
Right. We got to get rid of that info is what I'm getting at. Because if we get rid of the other guy, doesn't do any good if the stuff just gets sent to the new one.
So the other information that you've gleaned from this, one, you do have the location that Karsh tends to be at. It's in the top floor penthouse of the Intercontinental Hotel in San Francisco.
Swanky.
Also important is he doesn't seem to be much of a hands-on leader unless it is resorting to violence or strong arming, so much as he has lieutenants for that, and therefore he's often holed up solo or with only a few people. However, it does appear to be that the bulk of this information that has been sent out or that has been gleaned about all of you was by his order. Kind of goes back, like tracing back to the penthouse, back to him, back to his requests. But some of that is conjecture on Amelia's part.
Chair, I didn't quite follow that. Were you saying that the violence is the part that he tends to outsource, or is that the part that he takes
no,
glee
he
in
takes
doing
glee in that
personally?
himself. Yeah.
Okay. So the homework assignments, the research, that's not his bailiwick, but the shedding of blood, the getting gory, that's what he's passionate about.
Seems to be, yeah.
Okay.
Does Amelia put any timelines on when this started? Like, was it after we discovered Ray? Was that, or like, were they tracking us for a longer period of time?
Yes, going
Is there
through
any
it,
indication of that?
you do end up finding some photos of you all throughout the last couple of years. Peter, you do find some various references to you going back to before that, including your time in prison on the East Coast for what had happened there. It looks like there was maybe investigation on what entity you had encountered there that Onryo was looking into. So, as far as your own lives, there are things prior to. But now, when they looked those up, that's really hard to say.
Okay, so they are familiar with Alex then.
Did you go to jail under Alex's name?
Yeah, Alex is the real name.
Then we'll say, yeah, in a very few files that have to do with, there's not much that goes that far back, but in those, they do refer to you by your that alias's name.
So I think that the real question to me is, how do we get to this guy? I think I am in dealing, again, in my past life, in dealing with heads of nefarious organizations of various leanings, there tends to be some egomaniacal overconfidence that sometimes fills the head of leaders. I think it's almost a requirement. You kind of got to be a little bit full of yourself to decide to take on the world. It seems like this guy kind of fits that bill. That could be something that we can leverage. It feels like because he thinks he's good at violence, that he doesn't need to be surrounded by a cadre of bodyguards. Yeah.
I mean, all of them think they're better than us.
Yeah, but he thinks he's better.
I show them that they're wrong.
He thinks he's better than the other vampires, not just us.
Is there a picture of this guy in there?
There are some photos that show, they're like from a distance, they're kind of grainy Bigfoot style photos where it's like, that's a person. He appears to have long hair.
Okay.
You can kind of glean from looking at it that he does appear to be very tall. When he's standing next to other people, he's quite large. But details, there aren't a lot of, no.
So what
Doesn't
if we
have any
started?
tails.
Sorry,
What
what
if
was
we
that, Ryan?
started from?
So, okay, Ed, go.
I'm just thinking first principles. How do we kill a vampire that is presumably stronger and faster and more resilient to bullets and knives and things like that than we are? How do we turn him into a pile of ash or a pile of guts? Or
I don't know about you, but Mari sure lit that not a level 1 vampire up
Yeah,
like
I
a
was gonna
match.
say I haven't found a vampire that resists, some magnesium powder and water yet.
No, we also got Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, we could use.
Well, that was the plan.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
I can't
Ray's the one
control
who
Ray.
Ray's the one who says that he liked Mari's way of killing the not a level 1 vampire.
Yeah. Well, he's after you for a reason. Maybe he fears what you got.
I mean, that's great and all, but I just... when Amelia approached me on this, you and Amelia, he gestures to D, you came in and sat down and expected me to go with you. I was just kind of going along to get you off my back, but I didn't quite realize what I was getting myself into. And then you were all like, hey, let's go hunt this vampire, and it'll be easy. And that thing was not.
Well,
I told you we should have done more research, but
Yeah.
nobody wanted to listen to the science teacher.
I agreed with you, if you recall. It's just they were like, "Oh, it's going to be simple," and they kept going, and we're going to go without us. And if they had, they'd be dead.
And to be fair, you did science that thing to death.
And
I did. But
So just do
we
that
wouldn't
again.
have even been there. Or at least the way we were there. If we had done some research beforehand.
I also think it's important to note that just because a vampire is more resistant to maybe bullets, that just might mean you need to shoot it with more bullets than it shoots you. And I don't want to get shot. So
I
let's
don't wanna
shoot
get
it
shot
a
either.
lot
well,
and start there.
if we're in the middle of San Francisco shooting up the place, we're probably going to get a lot of attention.
All right,
Yeah.
so what do we do about that?
Yeah, well, I think we need to know more about this guy first.
I mean, we could go try and find some magnesium scrap. I mean, I still have like a little bit left. I only used one of my vials, but...
And we're going to need a lot more than just that.
Didn't
Well, I know, but we're near San Francisco. There's places that use magnesium. We could find somewhere that...
didn't
and go get
Billy
some scrap.
in the episode where Carly couldn't join us? Didn't Billy get some more magnesium for Mari? Or am I misremembering that?
I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm not remembering that.
Okay.
It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means I'm not remembering that.
No, yeah, I think you did.
Yeah. I don't think it was as much as you had, but I think you did end up getting some. You have a slight restock, maybe half of what you had previously.
I think we're going to need definitely lots of stuff, but we're going to need information first.
What kind of information?
Yeah, and I mean, Onryo seems to be pretty well informed, and they seem to have been closing the net around this organization for months and years. I'm not saying that we won't be able to get more information about this situation.
Well, that's why I'm
but we
asking
might know.
what information Peter wants to get. Because if we're talking information about the vampire, we're likely not going to get any more. But if we're talking about other kinds of information, like the location information, we might be able to scramble up more than what was in this folder.
Well,
Yeah, that's
one, does he have other holdings, things that we can hit to piss him off, to maybe get him off his game, get him away from the hotel? Two, what's the hotel security like? Are we walking into 5,000 ghouls plus this vampire? Like, what are we looking at here?
Well, doesn't it say that he frequents it, but usually only with like a couple other people? And given the fact that it's a pretty mainstay hotel, I think filling it up with ghouls, I mean, not that it's impossible. We don't know what princes can do. Might be a little more difficult.
Right, I don't know what they's got. I'm just saying I'd like to know what we're walking into before we
So
do.
let's get specific, right? Like we're talking a little abstract. What do you want? Employee lists? Do you want floor plans?
I think
Do
floor
you
plans
want
would be good.
surveillance video? Like what are we
And you've got
Let's
your
talk about some actionable shit.
you've got your drones and stuff. Fly them up there, here in the windows.
That's something I was going to try. Can't do it from here,
Man.
obviously.
Do you want eyes on the ground, or are you just looking to get information off the net? Like, what are we talking about here?
I'm open to ideas. I'm just saying we need information before we can even make a plan.
We need to make a plan to get information. Like at some point, we have to start somewhere. So what? Like, if here's my concern. I think that we need to at least have a plan in place in case, in the event of getting information, we have to go. Right? Like if we're discovered while getting information, we may just need to go, right? We may need to go in with less information because we may not be able to escape again. We barely did, and there was a lot going on when we were hitting the bowling alley. There's less going on presumably now. I would be surprised if we made it.
I could probably get into the hotel, get my hair done, change how I dress, and I could get myself in as just a guest. And then I'm sneaky, so I can move around, find some information out on the ground without being noticed, likely.
That's a
But
start.
you know me, I'm
One-
not a tech whiz, so I can get you the physical stuff and scout the place out there, but I'm not going to be able to go get you your floor plans.
What are you
Unless
going
I'm
to say,
feeling-
Billy?
And I don't really like that stuff.
So here's my wish list. So in my perfect raid, the 5 of us march into this penthouse, and they don't know that we are coming because we have taken steps to knock out or subvert whatever interior surveillance they have. We know what the terrain of the penthouse looks like. We know who is inside, and we know of the targets inside which one of them are spooky ass fucking super vamps and which ones are just fucking collaborators. So we know who's gonna die in a single burst and who needs special attention. And then we do our business and we get out and we get away with it because we have taken steps to make sure that neither like police nor fucking vampire response is on the way to come kick our shit in. That's my wish list.
Let's get
So there are
that.
a couple, right? So how do we get from this bunker to knowing what we need to know to do what I just described?
Well, we're going to need. Good.
Nope, go.
I mean, obviously, we're going to need the floor plans. We'd have to hack into the building security somehow. That's probably a lot easier inside the building if we knew where the security was.
I mean, that would be part of me being in there. Given some time, I could, slip a key card, get you what you need to get you access, like to tap the feed.
He's gonna pop open his phone and just Google to see what sort of infosec or DevOps or white hat hacking conferences might be going on in San Francisco at that time. There's basically always something going on there.
I don't think the floor plan is going to be a big issue, though. You probably just go on their website and they probably have a 3D walkthrough of their penthouse.
not so concerned about that. But I just
No,
like.
I meant to.
Oh, okay.
I was saying that to Peter.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
What is the conference that you find, Ryan?
I don't know. Like reinvent is fine.
Sure.
That's an AWS one, but that's fine. Yeah, so I think we can. There will be people visiting for this conference. We could use that as cover to get in. I mean, hacking. The best form of hacking is often social hacking, right? We don't need to be able to hack into the probably pretty well secured security system if we can just get into the room because we are a paid consultant or because of whatever reason.
Right, that's what I was saying. We needed access to the building, to the room.
We're talking about access to security, access to the. Those are two separate things.
We'd have to get access to security room more than likely. If you wanted to disable security or control it, we're going to be able to do that from outside more than likely. Or we can. It may be extremely risky.
All I'm saying is that I could probably, while I'm there, figure out a way ways into the room itself, the penthouse. If we're talking accessing security, that might need to, and control security, might need to be another
Why don't we just
person.
get a room?
Well, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, but why don't we just get be like, hey, we want the highest room that you got, and then we'll just go up the fire escape or something and kick in the door, and you can magnesium spray that guy.
Knows all of us and our photos and who we are.
But you were gonna put on makeup or something, and
I was gonna do my hair, get my hair completely done over. I don't wear makeup normally. I can get contacts to make my eyes a different color. It's much easier for me and to change the clothes I wear to become a different.
Hey,
Yeah, I think
use
if
your
I end
phone.
up in the
Use your
hotel,
phone. Are there any conferences for people that I don't know, like leopard conferences, because they don't have bandages and stuff like that? Couldn't we do something like that?
I'm not going as a leopard.
No, all of us will sneak in that way.
I mean, there is something to be said that if you strike fast, it doesn't matter if they know you're coming a second before you knock down the door, right? Oh crap, this person that's assaulting us is Mari. It doesn't really change things, and so I think that there's some value in balancing kind of getting a great plan and a ton of information. I'm really concerned about the plan breaking down before we even get to the plan. And so
I'm saying the biggest thing we need to verify is if he's at the fucking hotel or not. He doesn't stay there all the time, 100% of the time. He could not be there right now, and we're making all these plans and have no fucking clue.
And I think that ties into my wish list of knowing who's inside the penthouse before we kick the door in.
Yep.
So how do we do that? Because I feel like that's a different question than building security, right? If this guy fancies himself a prince, the same cameras that are watching the rest of the building are not going to be watching him. He wants his privacy. He's fucking special. So we're not going to be able to peek into his bathroom from the normal fucking security office.
But
right?
that also means that they're not watching him while we're turning him to ash, right?
Exactly.
Stands to reason.
I wonder though, and I mean, this is just, we don't know this, and maybe this is something we need to find out. I think maybe anyone staying in the penthouse at the Intercontinental is probably expecting that level of security. So maybe we don't need to, one, worry so much about that. Maybe that can take that worry off regardless. Like, even if we were to go in and he weren't there, at least we wouldn't, I would bet that there would be that kind of a surety. And actually, he'll like pop open the Intercontinental website and see if there's information about kind of privacy in the penthouse suite.
It actually doesn't list on their website that there is a penthouse.
Yeah, he owns that. Yep.
So when I was in service, we called this recon. We would go out and we would get the information and then make plans based off that. So maybe we could do that.
That's what I was saying, that I could get the drone up there to at least try to get a few on him.
But I feel like maybe driving down there in your van is not the best idea. So can you get your stuff not in your van and maybe a little more subtle, I think is the word we need.
Yeah, we're going to need to get all of us equipment. Like, I've got some stuff I think would be helpful. You're going to have to be helping out some on that, Ray. And he'll get out like a sketchbook, and he's got these like set of gloves designed with like needles in the above the knuckles for like punching in and injecting blood.
Nice. Oh, see, you've been busy drawing.
Yeah, I think this might be useful for Mari.
What's going to go in the needles?
Your blood.
Oh. Gotcha.
Like, I don't know if your blood actually burns them from the outside either. You know, obviously we can't take a ton, but maybe a water balloon of it.
He just starts laughing. Okay, I'm sorry. That was just, you want a water balloon of my blood. I feel like that's a good amount of my blood.
No, I'm talking, a small one here.
Look, do you mind if I just take a couple vials? I don't know if we need a water balloon. I'm just gonna take a couple vials so we can fill these needles.
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's start now, because if
I
you're
gotta
going to
make
need a
it
bunch, I'd rather space it out rather than you do it all at one time.
So I'm just gonna put it in the vials. I mean, you can make whatever punctured needle thing you're talking about. I'm just gonna take these basic medical supplies that we have and draw some blood into a basic blood vial.
He goes over in the kitchen and like grabs some oranges and some like soda that's in a can that says soda in black letters and just white. Comes over and sits down, rolls up his sleeve, gets ready for your...
Yeah, I'm gonna start drawing some blood vials. And after every time, I just tell him to get up and take like a quick little walk around the room and eat an orange, and then I'll draw another one.
Sure, yeah.
So it's not just one right after another, and he's sitting there not realizing if he's getting pussy or not.
Perfect.
What do you have access here, D? Can you get us some electronics, some other stuff?
I can look about getting some weapons.
I think you
maybe.
and I should make some calls, because I was very much on the same page with you when you were talking about more and better and maybe more on fire bullets.
Let me get you a list.
So as you all plan and the day passes, Mari, how many vials of blood are you taking from? Like, are we talking like a pint of blood or...
Oh, I mean, I imagine the vials are like the standard like vials that if you've ever gotten blood drawn for like blood testing. So less like the bags that they take when you donate blood, but more like those.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably imagine that I try to do four or five.
Perfect. Yeah, go ahead and mark that down. And you find that, so like no cell phone services out here. Dee's phone is working based on a satellite connection, which the rest of your phones don't have. Now, whether Peter can like make any alterations to your phones to work off of that, that's a roll we could make, or you can all rely on Dee's phone. Or you can always head closer to town too.
What equipment is here? Is there anything like I'll start with that. I'll be like,
Yeah.
we can cannibalize whatever is here, in my opinion.
So a lot of it is pretty there's like TVs, there are DVD players, Blu-ray players. There's actually like a VCR stuffed into a cabinet with like several dozen old videos, like from the 80s and stuff.
Is there a nearby like fire station?
You didn't see one, but you're sure that there would be. Yeah.
That might be a good, like, any, or if there's like a fire, like I think that probably we'll be able to get some of the chemicals that we need. Like a lot of times, like they'll have like training materials, right? Like if you have a chemical fire, this is how you put it out. And so
Right.
maybe we can like get the chemicals to start a chemical fire, like that sort of stuff. At those sorts of places, I think that kind of like, especially throughout the day, like
there is a good amount of fuel that runs the generator. If that is something that might help.
Yeah.
It's in like
fuel burns really well.
Yeah, it's in like 55-gallon barrels in the basement. There's also a limited amount of like, there's like some shotguns, some rifles, and some handguns, but none of them are like really. The bullets are all normal bullets. There's nothing fancy about anything, so there's not like any magnesium tip bullets or anything that you might want to.
Bullets are still bullets.
Right.
They still, I mean,
but obviously, like none of this stuff was
metagaming. They still deal aggravated damage to lots of things.
But like none of this stuff is. This all seems very mundane and not supernatural when it comes to holding the fort against something.
So
I see
I'm
a
gonna
kitty.
suggest, I do think we need to do some planning like here, right? But I like the idea of heading into town, and instead of going like straight to the Intercontinental, there's got to be another hotel nearby, maybe with line of sight, set up there for a day or two to gather, maybe like an initial like drone recon of the place. Maybe give D and I a chance to make some calls and try to find some really boutique implements of death, instead of trying to do it all out here from the freaking hole in the ground.
That sounds good.
I mean, that sounds like a lot of me doing nothing, but sure.
What do you have in mind?
Oh, nothing. I mean, I was just saying, are we all staying at this hotel across the street? Because it's not super suspicious that we're all together in San Francisco at all. Um, what, like, are we going in a big, fun pile? Drones flying around, a little bit obvious, especially given that building. I mean, at least from the pictures, it doesn't look like there's a bunch of other tall buildings right next to it. So, if a drone's just circling the top of that building, it might.
It looks like there is
Yeah,
another
but we
high
can-
rise across the street to the southwest. There's a university next door, just like a small University of the Pacific.
I'm not saying that we don't do our drone scouting or any of that. I'm just They obviously
I
have
think
all this
what you're saying is
information
like,
on
let's
them.
not be obvious while we're doing it. And yeah, okay, we can get a couple different rooms. We can be in different places. We don't even all have to be right next to the Intercontinental. Some of the work that can be done from halfway across town. I mean, I think that the right choice is to spread out at this point, and only convene when necessary. Because if one of us gets caught or burned, that doesn't mean we're all fucked.
And I'm not planning on flying Vlad right around the damn place. I'll use my small one.
Well, and you can just get we could probably, I don't know, sell your van or some shit. I can put a second mortgage on my house or something and get some cash, and we can buy a nice telephoto lens. You could take pictures from a block away and at least have some idea of what's going on.
There's a good camera on it. There's a reason I keep that small one.
I mean, look, you guys are making the plan. I've inputted what I think that I would be effective at doing, but it seems like we're not doing that right now, so I don't really know what you want me to do.
We'll probably still end up having you do some of that.
I think you should do that. I think you should do that now. I think that if you're going to be trying to be undercover, the best thing to do would be to get
Yeah,
detail.
if I can get myself in there early before whatever this plan is, that feels better.
Right, then you become a part of the background noise
Right.
of the Intercontinental. You're on the cameras a billion times, so it's oh yeah, that's just another face that we've seen 100 times.
I think the best bet is that whatever town is close to here, so maybe not central San Francisco, I go and get
Hair dye, etc.
hair done, the whole shebang, get myself done up nice, maybe get a suite so I'm on a closer level to the penthouse. Just because, I mean, if you look at the pictures, there's a suite on top of a suite, and they both have patios. That gives us access, relatively easy access, right there, patio to patio.
Real
Yeah.
quick, while you're all having this conversation, where are you? Are you in the bunker? Are you in the communal area of the bunker? Are you up in the ranger station area?
How hard is it for me to get in and out of the bunker?
There's actually
Is
an
it
elevator.
like a ladder? Or
No, there's an elevator. Yeah.
Okay.
They probably had to bring all of that fuel down here somehow.
I've been kind of imagining that we're crowded around these sort of computer setup down
Yeah.
there,
Okay.
looking at some of
Pot
the
of coffee.
Yeah. So there's an office that's been set aside for that. And since you are in there around the computer, D, you notice an alarm go off. It's a proximity alarm that lets you know when there is somebody close to the station upstairs.
Does it give any more than someone's close? Does it give a direction?
So just the alarm itself is just a proximity, but you can check the cameras and such.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right. So you bring up the security cameras. Go ahead and make an investigation. We'll call it wits.
Two successes.
You start cycling through, and you're trying to cycle through fast enough in case there's something moving around, but not too fast that you miss something. But you don't see what set off the alarm.
What time of day is it?
It is currently mid-afternoonish. We'll call it
Can I
Sneak
2:47.
up there and take a look.
Sure. Is that what you want to do?
Oh no, I was asking the group. Like
If you want to,
turned
yeah.
to-
I'll go with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up and try to be stealthy about it and like take a look to see if I can see what is tripping the
Sure.
alarm.
So it sounds like it's Mari and Billy are going up. Why don't you both do stealth dex checks for me, please?
Oh my gosh. 5 successes.
Nice.
None for Billy.
Okay.
I think the only potential saving grace is that he's recalled his last failure of stealth at the bowling alley, and he's trying to keep Mari in sight, but maybe hanging back like a good 20
Gotcha.
feet.
So you're not just like a neon sign announcing both of you and giving Mari some distance. Okay. So is Mari going first then as you exit out?
I imagine that Mari will leave first, and you know, the 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Sure.
and
So you
go.
head out. There is a front door and there is a back door. Which would you prefer to go out?
I mean, I think she's gonna go out the back,
Okay.
probably.
Is Billy following out the back, or are you going to go out the front?
I'm trying to keep sort of Mari in my sights. I'm
Sure.
less sort of actively trying to scout the place and more trying to make sure that she's not caught out alone.
Okay. So as the two of you creep out downstairs, you can see them on the cameras, and you're kind of like making sure they stay up on the screen. You've stopped like the random or the pre-programmed cycle through that just kind of plays through, and you're like following them with the cameras. Mari, go ahead and do a awareness. Yeah, awareness wits check.
Okay. 2 successes.
2 successes. Perfect. So you step out and you're looking around. You notice, so off to your right, there's a large shed, small garage. You've actually all checked it out in the time that you've been here. There's a couple of snowmobiles in there and like a small 2-person. I can't think of what the technical term is for it. They're like snowmobiles, but they don't have the sleds, and you sit inside. Anyway, it's kind of like a tractor, but you don't have like the thing on the front. You look over there, and you think you hear movement, and so you kind of head that direction. But if you get over there, you don't see anything. And Billy, you're keeping Mari within sight, but you're kind of back at the back door at this point, and you're looking off into the forest and off to the other side of the back of the house, or the back of the building. You do hear the sounds of the woods and some birds in the distance, the creaking of the trees. There's a little bit of wind moving through the area, but you don't hear anything like footsteps or talking.
I'm gonna slowly like circle the shed, like just do a full like loop
Sure.
of the shed.
As you walk around it, you don't see any people. I'll have you do actually do an investigation in either intelligence or wits. And you can kind of look for footprints and such.
I'm gonna use one of our advantages.
Okay, cool.
So that'll make 3 successes.
Nice. Not a side-by-side either. Thanks, Raven. I had to Google it to see what a side-by-side was. You look around, you do see footprints, but you pretty quickly pick up that they are yours. Like the group's footprints that have been moving around as you were checking out the area, make sure everything was secure over the past couple of days that you've been here. Billy, what are you up to?
I think I'm looking around on my own, right? Trying not to get too distracted, because again, my primary concern is keeping an eye on Mari, making sure that no creepy critters snatch her away. But I think while she's looking down, I may be looking up, seeing if there is anything obvious on the roof or the branches or anything like that.
Yeah, in the very large trees. Go ahead and do a wits awareness check for me.
Okay. Three successes.
As you're looking around, you do not see any creatures or people or anything on the roof. You do notice, you look over in the trees and you do see like a squirrel that's moving through it and some birds up there. You're very like focused on seeing any kind of movement and you do see them. But you don't see anything that would have set off the proximity alarms. We're going to jump back to downstairs real quick. D, as you're following them through, you get another proximity alarm. You click over. It's on the front, and one of the cameras is out in the front. It's the one that leads up the path to the front of the station.
I'll rewind I'll like check the feed just before.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like?
It fritzes for a moment and turns off.
So there was nothing that came into view.
You don't see anything. I'm going to have you do a thing where I don't push the wrong button. Sorry. Do a technology intelligence check for me.
Yeah. Am I seeing this as well?
You can both do one if you would like. I'm
Okay.
imagining you and Ray are both just like staring over D's shoulder.
Yeah, well, the other
Three.
question is this familiar to me from the incident?
Which incident?
This-
Sorry.
The Blow It incident? Remember how the
Yeah.
technology started flickering in and out?
As you're watching it, the hairs on your neck do raise and you get a chill. It does have enough similarity that it kind of twists your gut.
Okay. And only 2 successes.
Would you get?
I got 3 successes.
Okay.
It was a double crit, bruh.
Nice. Hey, you might want to go tell them that there's something. I don't know if it's a vampire or what, but I've seen something like this before. They're going to probably need a hand. Like whatever this is, if it's what I think it is, it messes with all kinds of technology, and it becomes hidden.
Do they need to like come in? Ray picks up a gun
Yeah.
and starts heading outside.
He will check his gun and also go outside.
I'll see if I can gather up something in here that'll help.
Okay. What are you looking for?
I'm seeing what's here, see if I can improvise anything. I know we got diesel fuel.
Yeah, the last couple of days, your brain has been chugging away at what you could possibly combine here to make into explosives. There are some small incendiary devices that you could have potentially made over the last couple of days. Why don't we do your roll for it and see if they turned out? And this will
Alright.
be a a retcon type roll.
Let's see. So that's 9 dice. 1 sec.
And you need, was it 4 successes you need to get?
Yeah, I need
Okay.
4 successes on the explosives. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would be 7 successes.
Amazing. Yeah, so like you quick,
That gets extras.
like you start watching the feeds, and then you like think about it, and you just like quick turn and you wheel down the hallway that goes to essentially there's like a workspace area, and you've been building things, and you just grab the ones that you've built. How many do you think you made?
With 7 successes, I get 4 improvised explosives.
Okay, cool. So you grab those and go wheeling back to the screen. Meanwhile, the elevator has been called down. Actually, I have a feeling Ray would have gone for the stairwell and left the elevator.
I think he would too.
Okay. So you two go running up. So it's about this time that we're all synced back up again. Ray hits the door that goes into the ranger station. Not super quietly. Quiet enough, but like not quietly enough to miss Billy's check for awareness earlier. So Billy, you do hear that noise from inside, and then Dee's kind of Ray is kind of stuck. Like when you get behind him, Dee, he's looking in the front, and then he looks in the back, and the door is like a little bit open, but he's looking in the front. Which way? Do you make
Get out of the door. I don't care.
Do you make an insight wits check?
Insight. You're really wigging me out because you're saying the skill first, and so I'm jumping all over.
Sorry.
4 successes.
Nice. You get this like shiver of remembrance watching the camera, watching Ray as Ray was, deployed and going through combat situations and decisions that he was making, where he would hit a point and something, like he would start heading away and then he'd stop and turn and go the other way. Like something was guiding him. And even though you saw the door open and you saw that, they went out the back, he's leaning towards going out the front. I will also give you that these choices kept him from harm rather than put him in harm's way. What do you do with that information?
I'm going to head towards the front but face the back.
Okay.
I'm going to draw the shotgun.
Gotcha. So Ray heads towards the front. He's got... Did I say what kind of gun he had? I feel like he's got a shotgun too.
Gun.
Yeah, so he grabbed a shotgun. He gets to the front door and kind of peers out. Billy, you've heard this. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna try to catch up and get closer to Mari instead of being like quite so far behind her.
Okay.
And when I can get up to her, just sort of whisper, sort of pointing in the direction I heard something over there.
Well, Mari, as soon as she was done circling the shed, was going to start checking the other entrances and exits to
Right.
the
So You catch up
ranger station.
about the time like Mari's coming around the corner to head towards the front of the ranger station. You'd catch up, Billy.
See anything?
I'll peek around.
Mari, make a... I'm going to try and do this in the right order. A wits awareness check. Don't you read your
Yeah.
character sheet bottom to top?
That's 2 successes.
2 successes. You glance around, you don't see anything. Nothing seems out of the ordinary.
Do I see the 2 of them at the front door?
They haven't come out yet. So you're still on the side heading in that direction. So no, you do not see them yet.
Okay.
Ray's glancing at the back door. I got a bad feeling about this. Do you say anything, D?
No.
He reaches forward, pulls the handle down, kind of pushes the door open, leans out just as Mari's coming around the corner. He like pulls that shotgun up faster than you may have expected and then realizes it's Mari. See anything?
She gives a shake of her head. And just is gonna, I mean, she's gonna continue circling. Like if she hasn't seen anything yet, she's continuing her circle of the ranger station.
Peter, back at the, as you get back to the screen, you see something flutter by one of the cameras in the back. It's kind of over by the garage.
Okay. Does it look like mist? Like, is based on what I gathered from the attack before with the cameras we were using, it kind of like was everywhere, right? Like it spread out like a mist or a fog or something like that.
It seemed more winged, less misty.
Okay. I don't have. We don't have communication right now, correct?
You do not. That
Okay.
camera turns off. Kind of fritzes out, goes black.
Okay.
Mari, you continue on. You pass D, who's at the door. Looks a little shaken. Sorry, not D. Ray. You pass Ray. You see D behind Ray. Billy, are you
He's
following?
Yeah, she's still she's making her loop to keep an eye out. And then if she gets back to the back without seeing anything, she'll do something.
Okay.
So D is gonna be keeping in mind that the camera is what wigged out, and so he's gonna be looking at a like in that like where near the cameras. You know, like if the cameras are higher, that's where he's looking. He's not so much looking like straight out.
Gotcha. They
Sir-
kind of aren't all on the same plane, but yeah, some of the ones that have gone out are definitely the higher ones. Make another wits awareness check for me.
Yeah. Is there lights on this place, by the way, on the outside?
There are. It is still afternoon, so they're not turned on yet.
Sure. Well, lights in that area are going to start flickering on and off if I can make it happen.
Gotcha. Yeah. You go into the controls, start flicking lights on and off on the porch. So everyone who's on the porch, which is D and Billy and Mari at this point, can all see this. Ray is still kind of like tucked into the door after having almost shot. Mari has like kind of stepped back and is like looking off down the driveway.
I got 3 successes.
You see something off over there by those trees. Not clear because it was really fast and it seemed to be flying.
Okay. We got a flyer, he'll say, and then he'll back into, like, he's going back towards going inside, like trying to back himself into a defensible position.
Yeah.
Because if something is flying, then there's a whole lot more, like being outside, like you can get, there's a lot more vectors for attack.
Sure. As you step in, you notice Ray is staring at the back door, and he's kind of has his head cocked, and you don't even have to do a roll for it. You can hear fluttering, like flapping wings coming from the back door, which is slightly open.
Where is Mari now? Because I imagine she doesn't really stop
Yeah.
moving. Like she's just circling.
So you're
the
entering the edge of, like, you're almost to the edge of the front of the building. So you're going to now pretty much be on the opposite end from where the garage is.
Oh, I thought I was already there when he almost shot me, but okay, sure.
Yeah, the garage is on, like, if you were facing the building, garage is on the right, and then you walked around the front, and you're almost around to the opposite, complete
gotcha.
left side. Yeah.
Okay.
As you get over there, you don't see anything in the forest or down the driveway, which is off to your left.
Okay. Just
What's
gonna
Billy up to?
I think Billy's gonna sort of whisper to Ari, like, we should finish this sweep and then get back inside.
She gives like a short nod as she continues.
You disappear around the corner, heading towards the back of the building once again. As you get closer to the back of the building, Mari, you can hear fluttering, flapping wings.
Does she hear them like they're on the porch, or like they're just like off the porch, or like where directionally, like how close, or like where directionally?
Go ahead and do a
she hear
check to see how close you can hone in on it. Let's do another wits awareness.
it? 3 successes.
So as you're on the left side of the building and you're heading towards the back, it sounds like it's... So the door itself is kind of in the center of the back of the building. This sounds closer than the back, than where the door is. So closer to you than to the door.
Between you and the door.
Yeah, between you and the door. If you were to go around the corner.
She's gonna just like turn, like half turn, as you know, to try and get Billy's attention. So she's still like looking where she's going, but like a half turn to try and get his attention, and is just gonna like gesture to go back inside through the front to him, while she's gonna see if she can like quietly lean out and see anything.
Okay, so you can stay over there. As you peer around, you see what appears to be a large murder of crows. Jumping around, flying, fluttering, kind of haphazardly, almost like they're having a hard time focusing in the direction that they want to go.
And they're all just like flying around in this section of the porch.
Yeah, so they're like on the back side of the building, and are every so often running into things like they can't quite control themselves, and then you see one of the security cameras go flying off. And as you're in the basement, Peter, you can see as another camera, something flits by it and it goes out.
Okay.
Does this like remind me of, there's vampires that can control animals? So do I get the sense that this may be a vampire controlling animals to pave the way for them?
So without a roll, I will give you that that is definitely an option, yes. That is behavior you have seen before, yes.
Oh, great.
And it is still pretty bright out. Like, the trees around do give you some pretty deep shade, but these don't appear to obviously be affected by the light itself. But paving the way for something that can't handle the sun? Absolutely.
I mean, you said it's a murder, but how many crows
I mean, I think you technically
are
have to have at least 3 to be a murder, but we'll say that you're kind of looking in just, if you had to guess, there's like 20 or more in this murder.
do they seem like they're moving along from where they're at, or are they like
Mhm.
maintaining their position where they
They
are?
do seem to be slowly progressing.
Okay. I don't know if Billy left or not, so
Yeah, Billy,
I'll
did you
let.
go back in the way that Mari pointed you to, or did you continue following?
I went back in as directed.
Okay. As you enter, you could see D is like halfway from the front to the back and is just like creeping on the back door. Did I say D? Because I meant Ray. What is D doing?
D is gonna peek out the door. Like he'll go faster. He'll pass Ray, and he's
Okay.
gonna kind of like looking kind of upwards. Check the corners and then pop out the door with the gun raised.
As you step out, like even as you get closer to the door, you can hear the wings flapping, and every so often you will hear a random caw. Sounds kind of strangled and forced, or maybe restrained. And as you step out, you see this group of crows. They're moving away from you slowly. It seems like they've kind of been rolling in this formation over things, and you can see bits of camera laying around. You do see Mari peeking around the other side.
I'm gonna just shoot him.
Sure. Make
With that
a
shotgun. It's like perfect for the.
that would be a firearms dexterity check. And yes, I said it backwards. Just for you.
Ooh, 5 successes.
5 successes. Well, there's not much I can. Let's see. Well, actually, no. I can reduce a lot of that. You do. So you fire into it, and the pellets of the shotgun blast do find purchase in some of them. You notice a couple of them fall to the ground and are twitching, but largely the cloud of ravens, the murder is still largely.
Well,
Is there any like
like
nets or netting here?
hold on. Real quick. That's 5 successes, but the shotgun is like +4 damage. So
Okay,
it would be
cool.
9. Yeah. 9
Perfect.
successes.
Thanks. A couple more do fall. Thanks to that.
Sorry.
Is there netting? You don't see any netting that's around.
So I just mean in general, like have in this ranger station since we've been here, has we seen any like netting, whether it was like around crates or actual like fishing netting or just
Yeah, in the
any kind of
garage you
netting?
did see some fishing, some nets for fishing. You did see some netting that you like put up to keep animals out of certain areas also. That's more like the kind of thicker plastic and wider hole netting, but depending on what you're looking for. But that is on the
And she's thinking about something that she can just throw on top of the
opposite end
drones
of where
to
you
stop
are.
them from flying. No, I know, but I just meant in general. She's just thinking about something that she could throw on top of the
Yeah,
crows to stop them from flying around.
totally. Do you want to book it for the garage?
Um, that was the closest place that she saw any kind of netting
Yeah.
was the garage. Um, yeah,
Okay.
she'll start circling back to the to the garage.
Okay. You're going back around the front to the garage rather than
Yeah, she's not gonna run
okay.
through the crows
And the gunfire that's happening.
and the gunfire.
As you like take off for the front, you hear another gun blast because Ray steps out and is all like, "The fuck?" and opens fire as well. That is a critical and an extra, so that is also 4 successes. And you said +4 for the shotgun? Nice. Okay. You see several other puffs of feather as more of the ravens are blasted away. Inside Billy, they've stepped out and are firing off into the forest. What do you do?
I think Billy is gonna sort of carefully join in.
Okay. As you step out, you see a reduced murder of crows. It's not quite an attempted murder yet. That would be 2 or less. But there are still well over at least a dozen crows that are moving around, fluttering. Seems to be, again, kind of chaotically, like they aren't sure of where they're supposed to be going, and they're just slowly moving away. Go ahead and roll your shooty shoot. It's firearms dexterity. And what are you shooting with?
Also a shotgun. And that would be 3 successes, and then whatever the shotgun does on top of that.
Nice. This time they rolled 0 attempt to dodges, so your shotgun blast just tears through a bunch of them. There's maybe 3 or 4, still technically a murder, moving around. Some of them are limply moving around on the ground. And
Now,
go ahead.
are they, at least the remaining ones,
Mhm.
are they fleeing? Are they looking for the next camera? Are they doing cute little circles in the sky? What are they doing?
They don't fly off like you would expect from the noise. Just the startlement, like the startling action of the shotgun should have like scared them away, but they continued to flutter in this chaotic kind of forced pattern. Meanwhile, Mari, you've like hit the front of the garage. You've heard the shotgun blasts. You rip the garage door open. You look in. The closest thing to you is just like a long-handled fishing net.
There's none of the like something larger, or is it just the
You can go further in and grab like some of the larger netting, but if you want like the closest thing, it is just the singular.
No, she's gonna grab some of the larger netting. She hasn't heard any sounds of pain or anguish yet, so while she is moving, she doesn't feel like the ultimate sense of urgency.
Totally. You run in and you grab the larger netting. And as you step back out, make a wits awareness check for me.
2 successes.
2 successes. Hold, please. You hear it coming as you are like breaching the door, and so you stop as another cloud of ravens just like rolls over the building that you're in. What do you do?
I can see them now. They're in front of me, or like really, like, are they in a place where I could attempt to throw this netting over the top of them?
You couldn't throw it over the top of the entire group, but you could definitely hit several of them if that's a satisfactory number, or you can step out and try and get more of them.
Oh, I mean, she'll step out if that gives her a better chance. I just meant like how high up in the air they are.
There's kind of a weird lack of angle that you have from where you are, so you could step out and like turn around and throw it up on them. You still might not hit all of them, but go ahead and make a we're not going to call that firearms, let's call that gonna call it dex.
Athletics?
Sure. I feel weird calling it melee, so I think athletics makes more sense.
Survival. She's fishing for birds.
Okay, that is 1, 2. So all of them are successes, but there is a crit in there also, so I need to figure out how much.
Nice. Crit gives you the extra one.
7.
Nice.
Successes.
I got 0 successes in the dodge. As you throw it over them, like several of these crows fall to the ground, squawking. Again, it sounds weird, like they're trying to squawk and it's coming out strangled or restrained. This is not the murder that you saw in the back as you hear more gunfire, because I'm assuming in the back the rest of you are still firing away.
There's like 3 or 4 crows.
Yeah, left.
Yeah.
All right, we will easily put them down with the 3 of you shotgunning them. What do you do?
I'm gonna check for more threats at this point.
As the 3 of you are standing there looking down on this splattered group of of crows and gore, you do hear more squawking coming from your right, back towards the garage. As you look over there, you can see the garage door is open, but you don't see what's going on. It's out of your line of vision. And then, Mari, there's like this switch gets flipped, and the few crows that you didn't manage to catch into the netting just squawk like loudly and surprisingly and just split and fly off. Like whatever was holding them.
Does it seem like
them
more
there.
natural movement, like suddenly
Yes.
they're in control of themselves?
Yes.
Okay. Does it seem like the ones that are in the net are reacting the same way?
They do start squawking rather angrily at being under this net.
I mean, I think she would see if like she could get one out and if it reacts the same way or not.
Like you
Like,
won't
instead
let
of
one out, see if
lifting
it
the
flies
whole
away.
net up, just like trying to let one out
Sure.
and see if it reacts the same way.
Yeah, you lift it up and like try and let one out. 2 get out, 1 manages to slip by you. But yeah, you still have the bulk of them underneath. Around the corner, Ray steps up, and I'm assuming Billy and D come with. But unless you're doing something else, let me know.
I think Billy's take as he watches like some of those birds fly away is just sort of to like shake his head and just look to the other people, be like, they have what they came for. They found us. We need to prepare to leave.
Yeah, I don't think it was so much finding us. I think it was if we're here at darkness, they were trying to make some set the path because they were
Um,
focusing on the cameras. They were taking out the cameras. They were getting rid of our ability to see what was coming. So I don't know it was so much finding us as they knew we were here and were paving the way.
Either way, we should leave.
Ray's,
Oh, for sure.
Ray's looking up the sky. Hey, can you see what time sundown is on that thing? He like points at your phone that's in your pocket.
Mari just puts up her fingers underneath wherever the sun is to the horizon to figure out how much time there is until sundown.
You are in the redwoods, so I will give you that. I'm gonna have you do a check to do it rather than just being able to do it like.
Oh, for sure. There is
Yeah.
some, especially with trees. It's a much more trying to figure out.
So we'll call it
than just
intelligence survival.
do it. Okay. If it doesn't work, she's also just doing it to be facetious.
You're just like, we got plenty of time. That's all you say.
She got one success.
One success. It's you feel like there's still some like 3 or 4 hours until sundown. Do you check on
She
your
said
phone?
that. She just puts her like fingers
Yeah,
up.
I
It's like
check on my phone.
3 hours.
There's like 4 to 5 hours till sundown.
Hey, it's better to
Close.
underestimate than over.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't want to stay here for 4 hours for no reason. And also, well, Dee will like go into the ranger station and like turn on the ranger radio to hear if there's any like conversation going on about 6 gunshots happening in pretty rapid succession.
Gotcha. Totally. You go and you turn it on. It's kind of, staticky for a little bit. You don't hear any reports or anything come through.
Sorry, go ahead.
He'll go downstairs and say, "We got to get out of here."
When you come downstairs, Peter's into the wiring for the security system at this point.
Are there any traps? I have to ask, are there any booby traps that Peter has set?
No, he's building that right now. So I'm assuming the sensors are still working. The cameras are disabled, but the sensors that activate them are disabled. Like, did he see the sensors activating?
Like some of them are definitely out as the crows collided with them, but many of them are still on. They were the 2 murders were stopped before they could take out. Like there's still over half the cameras left.
All right. Hey, go upstairs and get one of those sensors from the birds knocked down, and I'll need its wiring in a second.
Ray will go do
We
that.
got to get out of here though after I get this done.
Is there any climbing gear in the stuff, like rappelling gear, like harnesses and climbing gear within the stuff that is already in this
Yes.
facility?
Yes, there is. But there's only
Great,
enough for 2 of you.
Yeah, she's gonna gather it up because if she's gonna end up being in the hotel, she's gonna gather it up. I mean, her plan is to get some like nice suitcases and it'll end up in there so it doesn't look weird like bringing a duffel bag into
You don't just go with like wearing
the black duffel bag.
the climbing
Right.
gear.
But yeah, she's gonna gather up whatever climbing gear there is and pull it together, and that's like what she is picking up as they're getting ready to leave.
Okay. What's everyone's plan?
Well, I'm wiring up the diesel.
Okay.
I will take one of the sensors that they bring in, set it up on the inside, and do like a 1-minute timer from that sensor being activated.
Okay.
So
Swear
hopefully,
to God,
whenever
Peter, if you burn down this heritage old growth forest, I will never speak to you
Yeah,
again.
what the fuck are you doing?
I mean, same. Honestly, same. I don't
Uh,
care if you kill
Mhm.
one vampire while doing it. If you destroy these redwoods, I will hurt you.
I'll take
Well,
that
like,
risk.
this is just a ranger station too, right? Like people have their job to come here, and you're
Hey,
just gonna murder them?
no, this is your guys' place, isn't it? No one
But
uses
the
this. This is
bunker
No,
is
this
our
is
place.
a ranger station. Like, it's
Yeah.
functionally a ranger station.
I figured the ranger station is a ploy for the bunker that lives right underneath it.
Okay,
So are you
listen,
setting
not
the-
everything is like
Yeah.
layer of subtlety under layer of subtlety under layer of subtlety. Like, my God, man.
Then why do you have a ranger station right on top of your bunker that anybody can take
We
an
have a
elevator down
bunker
into?
underneath a ranger station. The ranger station was probably here first.
I doubt it. You're going to have to build the bunker sometime. The bunker's going to be built before the ranger station. You're not going to build the
Maybe
bunker.
they built the bunker.
Basement may have
You
been
can have
built.
this
The
argument
ranger
The
tomorrow.
bunker
station.
was
No
not.
It
more
doesn't matter. I don't know. It's a ranger station.
Well,
I didn't build it.
Ray's like, hey, there's somebody outside.
Oh, God
why don't you
damn it.
guys go talk to him?
Ah. Mari goes up, sets the bag that she gathered with all the climbing gear and sets it to the side and as she's up into the main area, sets it down and looks to see what
Yeah,
Ray.
he said that he called down to all of you. Well, through all of this, Billy, where have you been?
Probably arguing with Peter.
Okay, so yeah, the four of you are downstairs. Ray calls down, "Hey, there's somebody out here." Mari goes outside or heads up the stairs, goes out. What's what's Billy doing?
I think that it pains Billy to turn his gaze away from what Peter's doing with the diesel fuel, but he heads upstairs.
Okay, D.
I'm going to wait to see if Peter is continuing to wire up this thing. And if he stops, then he will also... He'll close up the laptop and kind of head out.
Right, so it sounds like Mari and Billy get upstairs first. You find Ray standing out on the front porch, leaning against the wall. You don't see anyone.
Is Ray standing differently? Does he look
No, he's just kind of relaxed against the wall.
does he look like he's the same as he has been?
Yeah. Ray's just kind of standing against the wall. He looks over. He's like, I just couldn't handle you guys arguing anymore.
Of course you couldn't. Is there only one car here?
There are no cars here. You walked in. There is the
Well, we walked, right?
yeah. There are two
There's the
snowmobiles.
4-wheeler and there's the 2 snowmobiles.
Yeah, it's not a 4-wheeler. It's like it has the 2 treads or has treads on either side, and it's kind of tractor-ish. I don't know what they're called. Think The Thing. If you've seen The Thing. If you haven't seen The Thing, I can't think of another movie that has one in it. And if you haven't seen The Thing, what's wrong with you? Just kidding.
God, it's been 40 years.
Right. So there are vehicles. Technically, the tractor could go. The snowmobiles would be a little difficult to go without snow.
Okay.
But
Martin's just gonna look around and say, try not to let him blow up the building. And she's gonna start heading out because her mission at this point is a little bit separate from everyone else's. So
Gotcha.
she's gonna just start. She's packed up what she wants, and is just gonna start heading out to go through her makeover and get set up at the hotel.
have you all figured out a way of how you're getting a hold of one another?
Say again?
Have you figured out how you're all getting a hold of one another back in the city?
Well, we only got one vehicle to get out of here right now at the moment, right?
Technically,
All
yeah.
of
If you're gonna take the vehicle, or you could, travel back out either by somebody pushing Peter, or which is how you got in here.
Well,
Or
once we get to the out of the park is what I'm saying.
there is the one vehicle that you came in. Yes,
Yeah.
you could just drive the tractor tank into town. Should be fine.
Oh, I mean, Mari doesn't plan on taking. I mean, how far was the trailhead out from like?
You've got about a quarter of a mile to walk to get back out to
No,
the
I mean,
car.
how far out is where we parked the car or whatever we were taking to like a town center
Sure.
or something?
A couple of miles.
Yeah, she's just gonna walk.
Okay.
She's gonna walk to town. She's not gonna take the car. She's gonna walk to town. If it's only a couple miles, even with like 5 hours, like she's got time to do a couple miles.
Yes, a snowcat. Thank you, Raven.
I gotta look it up now. Oh, yeah. Just don't be Jeremy.
I think Mari is operating kind of under a standard procedure in that she'll probably pick up a burner phone and, uh, you know, I imagine usually when she picks up a burner phone, Peter gets a hold of her somehow.
I would love to believe that in the blur of the last couple of days in us getting here, that we picked up phones and exchanged numbers.
Yeah, I feel like we'll say that in the blur that you have figured out a way that you are going to get in contact with each other should you get separated by plan or by coincidence. So
The only one we haven't switched is D's. He's still using the Unreal phone. Sounds like, right?
that is correct.
I
Well, in
have
that
a burner
case,
phone.
I think her plan is to pick up another burner phone that she will then, as a final message, like text the number to one of the ones that they already have.
Okay. So we'll assume that at some point in the next several hours or however you all do this, you will have ways to communicate with one another.
Yeah.
Okay.
I imagine it's something like we have like a dead drop email that we like text like new burner phone numbers to that we can,
Yeah, I like
so
it.
then we have the new numbers and then delete history and messages and whatever. Imagine Peter does that stuff.
Okay.
That's just what I picture.
So as Mari,
The,
yeah, go for it.
the plan is to walk to the trailhead, get to town. He could walk, he could hitchhike, whatever.
There's
and
the
then
car
get
that
on
you
a-
drove it in.
Right, but did we leave the van at San Francisco Airport and it was
Yep.
just a car that we rented? Okay, yeah. He'll just plan on using the car to get back into town. So he'll just wait there.
All right. So as Mari heads out and the rest of you collect your thoughts and the things that you want to take and make your plans, I feel like I do need you to roll for your creation of the exploding device.
Ugh. I hope he fails.
It could make this the last episode.
Oh, I meant not that badly. I just mean I hope that the trap fails. I don't want him blowing up the ranger station.
3.
So just out of curiosity, are you putting it on the ranger station or are you putting it on the entrance to the bunker?
So that's why I was getting the sensor. If people come down into the bunker, it is going to set off the timer.
Perfect. And it's a minute timer, and you got a 3 on your explosive check?
Yeah, but I'm going to spin one of the...
Nice. Awesome.
Also, can we use your sat phone?
For what?
I'd like to see what comes down here. We can get one of the cameras, try to broadcast it so we can actually see what comes in. Or do you want to keep that?
I don't know the. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm going to have you do one more check for that.
Okay.
We'll call it intelligence technology.
All right. It's more like I want to see what's going on when this creature comes. Wow, that's a lot of crits. That'd be 6.
Nice. Yeah, so you rig up a way for essentially you to contact the computer that's in there that's connected to the security system and everything. And you're kind of checking it through. Right now, you're essentially hoping it works because you aren't able to check it from where you are, but you're pretty certain that it's going to work when it comes down to it. And with that, we're going to take our break. We're a little past our typical break time, but I didn't want to interrupt all of your guys' stuff. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you in a few.
Woohoo.
Woohoo.
Woohoo!
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us this evening as we prepare to go either die in a horrible bloody battle or take out the vampire that is hunting these hunters.
Why not both?
Or both. Meanwhile, some poor ranger in the near future will head out to do his job, randomly find this door that was somebody left open, head down and die at a fiery explosion.
So rude.
So rude. All right, so Mari has left the building, is heading into town. The rest of you, are there any preparations that you need to do before you head out?
Nothing else I can think of.
Okay. So I will also give you that in the last couple of days, I know both Billy and Dee have special connections and such as their characters that you could have called on to have different supplies and such delivered. Would you have made use any of that, or would you like to do any of that as you were traveling to your upcoming destination?
Yeah, Dee would have waited until we got to now to get things lined up, but now he's going to reach out and begin to gather some weaponry.
Okay. And how about Billy?
I think Billy would have gotten a hold of his contact and sort of, I'm going to say, put the order in, just so that she can begin, gathering stuff together.
Sure.
And it would probably be right around now where Billy's saying, all right, deliver it here.
Okay.
Here's that list of stuff.
Right. Here's my shopping list. Dear Santa.
Yeah. I'd also use... Oh.
I know it's only July, but I would like...
Yeah.
Are there any roles that either of you need to do for that? Or is it just kind of a thing?
I would need to check the rules.
Okay. While you're checking on those, the 4 of you, plus Ray, who's traveling with the fellows, all go your ways. So Mari has left the group behind and is heading into town by walking into the closest populated area, essentially, and then getting a car to head into an area where you can do your spa day.
Yeah. She's essentially walking into town, and then she has a phone, so she's going to like set up a Lyft account, and especially since she plans on getting another burner, set up like a Lyft account, and
Totally.
I imagine that she has, given what they do, that she has some like cards or an account that like a separate account that isn't in her real name.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
A safety slush.
Perfect.
And I did a quick check, and it looks like it's a manipulation streetwise because I use contacts
Perfect.
for this. So let me go ahead and roll that if I can.
Awesome.
Yeah, same thing for me.
All right, and that's only 3 successes against the 4 that I need, so that might be a good opportunity for me to burn one of those advantages.
That does sound like a great opportunity for that.
And we'll mark it off.
Okay.
Soon Jeremy will have more than us.
And I also only got 3, so I will burn another one.
Excellent. Seems like this is a great time to remind watchers and our viewers you can use channel points or bits to buy the characters' advantage points, including me, the GM, the storyteller, who needs all the help I can get against these mean hunters.
We're all gonna die anyways.
I'm sure it'll be fine. As the 4 gents reach the edge of the trail that you came out of to get away from the ranger building, you see that the car is still there. I believe D would have the keys.
Yeah. And also I can just before we move on past the arsenal stuff, I'm getting like an exotic which allows for like specialty stuff. So I will get some specialty ammunition for the sniper rifle.
Okay. What does the specialty ammunition do?
I will let you know in a second.
Perfect.
And I will put the car in drive. Well, first I'm going to do a once over of the car to make sure that it doesn't look like it's been...
Sure. Let's do a intelligence investigation.
I got 1 success.
Car looks pretty much like it was a couple of days ago when you parked it here. It's a little dustier, but other than that, you do notice like some random like cat paws marks through like the dust. A couple birds have crapped on it, but other than that, nothing seems to be out of sorts.
Start it up and help to get everyone and their gear in.
Okay. And Ed, was there anything that you were ordering in particular with your contact?
Yeah, I also have the exotics thing, just like Ryan, and also the team requisition. So I can tell you what Billy is trying to get for himself is a Saiga 12, probably with Dragon's Breath rounds.
Okay.
So that's like a magazine-fed semi-automatic shotgun.
Okay.
So not the most stealthy thing, but a really good way to put a lot of flaming violence downrange.
Fair.
Pretty quickly. So that's his cup of tea. But there would be like an invitation to Ray or to Carly or even to Peter if they wanted something similar or even something slightly different. that would be within what my contacts can provide.
Was there anything that you needed before this would have, the order for this would have gone in before the group split up? So is there anything that anyone needed?
I was just going to get the mats to make Carly's, or sort of make Mari's glove
Gotcha. The
for the improvised equipment.
needle
And then I was
punching
gonna-
gloves.
Yeah. And then some chemicals and a card skimmer.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we can make some new cards to get stuff as we need, like a hotel room, etc.
Mari, was there anything?
I mean, she would just request if you can getting some more magnesium powder because she's found it infinitely useful.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, maybe some like bullets that have like a cartridge space in it, so you could try to put some of the blood in the bullets for you guys. Some of Ray's blood in the bullets.
Yep.
She would just remind you to maybe pick up some of those.
Perfect.
We're going to stop by the van so I can get my drone, right? And my
At the
components and
airport
laptop.
on the other side of San Francisco.
Yeah. It's either
You can
that or
take
we got to
the BART.
buy it.
Take the BART.
Do you want to go back to the van? Does that feel like a safe choice?
I mean, we're already being tracked somehow, so I don't know that that's going to be any worse.
Okay.
I do not want to go back to the van.
All right.
I mean,
Well,
you...
I'm not with the group.
Yeah, and you don't all have to stay together to do the things that you need to do. So, like going to your drop points that Billy and Dee both need to go to. Like Ray can go with Peter to pick up the
There's plenty of drone
Drone
stores in
and
San
stuff.
Francisco. He can get the electronics he needs to
Okay.
to build out a new drone or two.
So, Mara, you're walking to essentially
Yeah, I'm
get
walking to a populated area
Right.
and then essentially trying to like get a taxi or a lift to somewhere where she can get her hair done and
even though the sun isn't like
get the process started.
sundown isn't for a couple hours by the time you get there, but yet it's low enough that it's getting dark in this area that you're in. And so just that extra sense of caution sets in if there's anything out there that requires darkness to hunt you. And so you're, keeping your eye out, but nothing seems to threaten you. And you find a ride back into town. You don't see them drive by, but shortly after you have made it there, they also drive by the area that you had gotten your taxi from. You all head back into town and go to your various locations. Your drops have been delivered, and so you each have your goods, although delivering them to people that aren't with you will take time. So like Mari doesn't have her magnesium until Billy is able to get it to her, for example.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like there was some other planning that you want to do once you were back in town, as far as checking out the building, doing your drone flybys, stuff like that. Was that correct?
Well, gotta build out the new drone, so I've got to buy it.
Yeah. So you've collected all your stuff, and that night you can prepare everything to essentially go into effect the next day. As far as you're starting off surveillance of the building to find out if this vampire warlord Karsh is really there, if he's alone, etc., etc. Mari, you have done your spa day. You got your nails done.
It's not a spa day because hair takes forever, so she's not doing anything else besides getting her hair done. And then going and picking out like nice, smart, like fancy business clothes esque attire, which is like the complete opposite of what she normally wears. Including heels, even though she hates them, but a height change is useful. And, then gets a new, like, luggage so that she can put the stuff that she's packed in the luggage, and then sets out and probably orders a car, like an actual, like a black car service to take her to the hotel.
So I want you to do a roll here. I'm going to give you a choice of manipulation or intelligence.
Okay.
And subterfuge. We're just going to see how well you've made this disguise.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is this a social role? Can I use my looks stunning to add
Yes.
to this
Yes,
role?
you may.
Okay.
Also, you have been granted another advantage.
Oh, I will
Thanks,
take
chat.
it right now
Thanks,
for
Cozy.
this one.
Okay. I don't need that. It's a list then.
Yeah, that'll be 4 successes.
Okay, nice. When you look in the mirror, you recognize yourself, but it takes you a minute. Like, it's a good job. Like, you feel well altered as far as the presence that you put off. Are you checking into the hotel tonight?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
she's gonna go in and see if she can get. It's still gonna be a high-end suite, but like the suite. I looked it up. So the penthouse is the presidential suite. So she's gonna she's like, I want like the bay suite. Is that the one with the same view as the presidential suite? I want the suite, but not the because it's
Sure.
just me, so I don't need the presidential suite. But can I?
We're going to let yes, no, maybe decide if that high is available. Yes. But
Oh, the yes no maybe likes me today, which is
Yeah.
great because a few sessions ago it hated me.
so you go in and you just like traipse on in, and it seems like there's a good deal of activity in the lobby and kind of people checking in, checking out. You do realize that it's Friday. Like, you're not really sure what day you thought it was, but you're just like, yeah, it's the weekend. People are coming into town for various things. So you wait in line, you get up there, you ask if this suite is available, and of the ones available, there is one that's essentially the one below the penthouse. There is a suite that is available, but it faces the university not on the street side, but on the other side. So like, you're essentially looking down, you can see the university that's next to it, and kind of off over those buildings, you can't see from the street. Which,
Okay, so it is below the penthouse, but
Correct.
I wouldn't see where they said that they might be posting up.
yeah, so depending
you're
on,
saying?
did any of you say where you wanted to post up?
Well, I was about to ask D, since he was suggesting some social engineering earlier, to give me a hand here. Maybe see if you can engineer the San Francisco tourist organization to have, to let them know that they're supposed to have a drone footage done in the city today, to make sure that the locals are aware to stay away, not to interfere.
Nice. So is there a side of the building that matters for that, or were
So
you
I would-
essentially...
Yeah, I wouldn't be going directly, just starting there. I would, obviously make it look like I'm doing footage of different areas
Right.
in the area, and then, kind of like getting higher to get the, the good footage of looking down and stuff,
So Mar,
and
you didn't...
using that as cover.
Mar, you don't really feel like being on the side of the building is a detriment to what what they were
I was
planning.
like, it's more
Yeah.
important to her to be underneath the presidential
Totally.
suite than I think anything else from what they've talked about.
Yes, you get up there and it's like there's 4 doors on this level. And you walk up to yours and it's like a quarter of the level is the suite that you've taken. It's a couple of rooms, and you look out over the city. You can see the college apparently is having some kind of get together tonight, and there's a lot of activity down there. You can actually almost hear it. It's like very loud and raucous, but you don't really like hear anything else within the hotel itself. Seems pretty.
And this room
Sure.
has like a patio, right? That seems like it's directly
does.
underneath the presidential suite.
Yes.
Patio. Great. Yeah, I mean, she's just gonna go through the rooms, get comfortable, and just start first just setting up a layout of her rooms. And I think that's like her goal for the night is just figuring out even like things like vents and how big they are.
Perfect.
And
Yeah.
things like that. Just figuring out what her room layout might facilitate.
Like looking at the vents and stuff, you don't get the feeling that like you could crawl through them, but you could probably like if Peter were here, Peter could probably send like a remote controlled drone or something like that. Maybe not the flying ones, but like if he had wheeled ones, they could go through there.
And then I probably send a message with my new burner and tell them what room I am and where it's located in the
Perfect.
hotel.
Perfect.
Sorry about interrupting there a second ago. I thought you were asking us. My bad.
No. I was asking you because I was trying to clarify for
Okay.
Carly whether or not if it mattered for what you were doing, which side she was on. So
Gotcha.
no, that totally cleared it up. Thanks. So as Mari settles in for the evening, getting set up, what are the rest of you doing?
Going to find, let's see. I mean, so this part of San Francisco, is like, it's kind of near the convention center. It's also near like the financial district. So it's like there's a lot of hotels. And so I'll find like a nearby hotel. I think like there's like a Four Seasons or something like that, to get a higher, a higher floor facing the Intercontinental. As long as I'm within, half a mile, which I would be. The other thing too is like this, because it's because of like what is around here, it's like very busy during the days and evenings, but then like as it gets later into the night, it's like there's not like a ton of bars and stuff. And so I would spend some time at like once it dies down and speak to the homeless population, to see if there's any like, any word on the streets about like, oh, there's this weird shit that goes on, or we see the lights go on, or that, like that sort of thing that they
Nice.
might notice that other people wouldn't.
Yeah, that's great. Let's go ahead and do charisma and investigation.
I think Billy would ask D, try to find out if there are any helicopters, if there's like a landing pad or anything like that.
Okay.
Just while you're at it.
Okay. Can I do either streetwise or?
You can do streetwise. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I got 2 successes.
Okay. As you're asking about, you notice that there is a small homeless presence here. Kind of seems thin. You may be expected to find more, which in and of itself could be connected to the food chain in this area, literally. Many of the people that you ask seem to be new to the area, like they were, transients moving around, and they were like, oh, I found this area that was already kind of like set up. I'm not sure if somebody was sleeping in it previously, but it was just available and no one claimed it, so I took it. You get a lot of that. You actually, I need to ask, so for what Peter needs you to do as far as finding out about the drone, is there a role that you need to do for that?
Yeah, I think that would probably be, I had to guess it would be manipulation subterfuge, maybe.
Okay. Go ahead and do that as well.
Yeah, like I'd look up. There's probably companies bragging that they've done work for San Francisco before, footage and stuff. So I
Yeah.
find one of their names and pass it over to Dee to be.
Yeah, or if I can, I mean, so there's that option, or even if I were to forge like a advertisement agency that is just like, oh look, I have this permit from the city to fly drone coverage for
Yeah. So
whatever.
clarify for me, are you looking to get a permit, or are you looking to look like you have a permit to the surrounding businesses like the hotel?
Yes, look like I have a permit.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll call that.
I don't think we can get a permit in a day.
No. So yeah, we'll call that manipulation subterfuge.
I got 4 successes for that.
Perfect. So what D supplies you with is a pretty legit looking permit that has dates including from like yesterday through a couple days from now. So it would be up to you essentially to inform. You can either email those to the various businesses around there. There's like an electronic version, or you could go with the paper version to them and say, hey, I'm going to be outside with a drone. Is there one of those that you would prefer to do, Peter?
Peter'd send electronically both to the businesses in the area
Okay.
and the police. He'll keep
Okay,
a paper
perfect.
copy on him just in case, but more importantly, he wants to keep the cops off his backside.
Perfect. All right. Billy, what are you up to over there?
I think that Billy's mentioned to Dee, hey, if you need me to man a camera or a telescope or something like that to try to put eyes on, the windows or the entrances or something like that, that's certainly a thing I can do. But what's on Billy's mind this evening is trying to cut off any chance of escape.
Okay.
For the vamps they're trying to hit. That's why I was asking about is there ever like a helicopter that can come in and like exfiltrate them that way?
Yeah.
Or bring in reinforcements that way. The other thing he wants to do is he wants to find the parking garage for the hotel. And maybe there's like a parking attendant that he can bribe, to try to identify, hey, is there any particularly big, I'm imagining like a full-size car, probably dark tints, probably doesn't go out all that
Right.
often, but when it does, the guys are especially creepy, trying to identify, is there maybe in a VIP spot in the garage or something like that. Trying to figure that out.
There's a parking garage. So as you're facing the hotel, there's the university next to it, and then there's like a multi-story parking garage just on the other side of that. you head over there and you head in and you just like kind of go up to the first attendant lot and you start asking, go ahead and do a check for me. We'll call it charisma persuasion. I don't feel like you're necessarily lying to them about anything, so we won't call it a subterfuge.
Yeah, if anything, I was probably trying to bribe it out
Yeah.
of them, right? This is less out of the goodness of my heart, and more trying to,
I'll actually give you an
Make it
extra
worth their
die to
while.
roll for the bribe.
Okay. Two successes on that.
So, luckily enough, the guy who's working tonight, younger guy, probably 19, maybe 20. You actually can see the faded X's in ink on his hands. He's underage to be drinking at clubs. He seems to be, you can see the earbuds in his ears as you walk up and you knock on the window, and at first he doesn't hear, and then he sees the movement. He kind of startles up, and he sits up, and you're talking with him. Younger college kid, seems to be in need of money, and so you just pull out like a couple 20s, slide them through the window at him, and you're like, hey, this information. And pretty quickly he's like, oh yeah, there's like this guy, I think he's like a professional wrestler or something, huge guy, but I never see him except for sometimes at night. He'll come down and he's got like a couple of guys that drive him around. But no, I don't really see him very often otherwise. Is there any
Does he-
other? Yeah, go
Does
ahead.
he like gesture to or show me like the general location of the car or something like that?
Oh, so his car is like in a special VIP section. It would be down the ramp. It's the big maroon SUV. It's a Chevy something or other. It's hard to miss.
What's my take on this kid? Does he seem like, how did the bribe go over? Does he seem interested, or is he sort of on the edge of what he's willing to participate
I mean,
in?
he spilled pretty fast. Like he pulled that money and he was just like, oh.
I think so. I'm going to just sort of like, maybe glance around a little bit and like lean in maybe a little bit conspiratorially and be like, so, hey, listen, a couple of my friends and I, we have like a little thing going on. And if maybe you were gonna make sure that, you didn't see anything, a night or two from now when we're taking care of something, there could be maybe a little bit more of this in it for you.
How much of that would be in it for me?
How about this? I'm gonna flip out three $20 bills for him.
You can see some gears turning in his mind. He's like, oh, can you double that?
So I'll count out another three 20s, but I'm not going to hand them over. So what does that above and beyond get me?
I mean, I've got a lot of homework to be doing, and I don't, when I'm really focused in on my homework, I don't really notice things going on around me.
Mm-hmm.
I also might have forgotten my T183 back in my locker at the school and might have to run over and grab that.
Man, it's really commendable that you're so dedicated to your schoolwork.
Thanks.
And I'd love to support
would you
that.
tell my
The children
counselor
of the
that?
future, that it would be a real interesting if maybe you were so involved in that you forgot to turn the cameras on record or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I guess there are the cameras. I never really pay attention to those. If they were to be turned off, I wouldn't even notice, I don't think.
Okay. Well, buy yourself something nice. fat stack of school books, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not even going to make you roll that one. He is not going to buy school books with his money.
Shocked, I say.
Shocker.
All
Anything
right,
else?
thanks.
Oh, and as far as the helicopter, the people that Dee spoke with didn't like recall seeing one. Doesn't mean there is no possibility of one, but from what you've heard from this person, also, it seems like if this big guy is who you're looking for, he does come down and use the vehicles when he leaves.
Gotcha. So I think the other thing I would do is maybe text a request to Mari,
Okay.
basically trying to figure out like where are the stairwells,
Sure.
right? Again, just thinking about it from a perspective of if I want to make sure that every single entrance is plugged, do I know where they are? And since she's on location, I think she's in a good place to figure that out.
Is Peter the kind of tech person that would be able to supply a phone with like a mapping software app?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely something that you could have all discussed beforehand and you would have sent to Mari's phone so that essentially as Mari walks around, it's just creating a 3D map of wherever you're going within, well, essentially it's like pingable area. That sound legit?
Yeah.
And Mari, as you're looking around, you did see that there were stairs at the ends of the hallways on both sides. Just kind of glancing, you did see they go up and down.
Yeah, that's a tomorrow day problem.
Yeah.
Tonight, after she investigates her room, she's gonna go to the hotel bar.
Perfect.
And she's just gonna try and see if she can, if this mysterious person like shows up. She's not trying to draw a lot of attention to herself. She's just trying to see if she can verify if he's.
I'm going to have you do a wits insight check.
Okay. Three successes.
Nice. So you go down to the bar. Are you drinking? Or are you appearing to
Yeah,
drink?
she'll order a drink so it doesn't look out of place, but she's not like drinking. She's luxuriating in her drink.
Sure. As you spend some time, every so often, like, some guy will walk up to you and, like, set a drink down on the table. Like, oh, I
She'll
noticed,
make conversation.
I noticed
She's
she was
not
drinking
gonna,
one of these.
You know.
And so you're kind of like, going through that and you're watching people. You're not really seeing anything that's untoward or weird until it's probably 1 a.m. Kind of feeling like this may be a bust or it's just a really, like, this guy, this Karsh must be like a complete introvert or something, when just this tingle runs up your spine and there's like this cold feeling in your gut, and you look around and you don't see anyone that matches this like huge guy's description or whatever, but there is this kind of weaselly looking fellow that's well dressed, but his clothes kind of dangle off of him like he's a little emaciated. And you've been around enough vampires to just kind of get the sense that this fellow is not right. And so you start watching and you realize that this vampire is hunting. Obviously here looking for prey.
I think she's just gonna keep knowing how important this mission is. She's gonna keep an eye out, just of whatever happens, and like right now she's in follow and survey mode. Doesn't mean that something might not happen where she will interject. Given her tenant is to protect,
Right.
it might. But at the moment, she's just gonna, keep her position and watch what and where, and as much as she can.
So he kind of drifts around the bar a bit, and finally he settles down next to this guy who's he was wearing a business suit when he came in, but he's kind of a heavier guy, and he was obviously hot. He took it off. This was before the vampire came in. Took off his jacket, hung it on the seat next to him, loosened his tie, his just like sweat stained shirt. He just kind of sits down, and he's just like completely seems dejected, and orders a drink, and has been like not pounding him down, but you've definitely seen him put away quite a few drinks. And the vampire sits next to him and like kind of pulls back his medium length mousy brown hair and begins conversation. You're trying to listen to what they say without being obvious. Go ahead and make a wits awareness.
Okay. Yeah, it's only a 1 success.
Okay.
I think she's more attempting to go unseen.
Yeah, totally.
That's more important at the moment.
And so you are kind of keeping an eye on this, watching other people move around, and the vampire leans in. You had seen the guy kind of like shake his head, shake his hand. He's like, no. But then the vampire leans in, just kind of rests his head on the table like he's turning his face into look at the other guy's eyes. The other guy kind of stiffens up. And you can't hear what they're saying. Then the guy, the businessman, kind of sits up, turns in his seat. The vampire stands up, smiling, takes him by the hand and starts leading him out of the bar. You notice the guy left his coat behind, and they disappear from your line of sight.
Yeah, she's going to pick up the coat and start following.
Okay. As Mari heads out of the bar, you see the two of them step outside. The crowd now long ago dispersed. There's a couple people walking by the front door, but the raucous nature of the crowd that was out there before is long gone now. Are you following them outside?
Yeah, she is gonna be following as stealthily as she can.
Okay. Mari follows the duo into the night, and that is where we're going to call it this week.
Dun, dun, dun. Just for your awareness,
Sure.
I rolled for the glove and
Perfect.
then spent one of our advantages. To
Okay,
make
perfect.
Mari's Freddy Krueger needle gloves.
Nice. All right. Well, that sounds like you're all mostly ready to face Karsh next episode. Although this other vampire might have thrown a wrench in your plans. I guess we're going to have to find out in 2 weeks as we head into what I think is going to be the final episode. I guess it depends on how things go, but I feel in my heart that it's going to all come to a head next week or in 2 weeks. So
If
thank
we
you.
keep delaying it, we can keep getting more powerful with XP, right?
Right?
That's how this works, right?
That is 100% how it works. Thank you all for playing tonight. It was good to see you all. if you're watching live. Join us again in 2 weeks from tonight at 8 p.m. for what will likely be the finale of Hunter Bad Blood, unless things go sideways for the GM, being me, and the players have like so many other interesting things to do that we end up with another episode. Who knows?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna die.
I have no idea what you. Okay, maybe it's not an impossibility.
Well, I've already decided that if anybody dies, it's gonna be Mari. So
I figure
But
Peter
the-
was going to be the one that dies.
It's I don't know what any of you talk about. It is all up to the dice. None of us control our fates. What do you mean?
Oh, Peter controls his fate. It's just whether he takes anybody with him or not.
Tomorrow, if you're watching tonight, Saturday night, tomorrow at, I guess I had better check this before I open my mouth and say it.
Shadow Dark.
Doom, doom, doom. Yep, tomorrow at 2 p.m. is the next episode of Shadow Dark Wanderings into the Dark. So that's 2 p.m. Eastern. Join us back here for some chaos in Shadow Dark Land. It is, that group is just chaos. I don't even know how to explain it. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time. Have a good night. We're going to raid over as we say goodnight. So hang out for a few. And we will see you next time. Good night, all.
Bye.
Bye.
bye.